Welcome to Too Many Cooks in the Kitchen. I'm Janelle, the original cook in this duo.
And I'm Lauren, the one who adds a little extra sass and spice.
Which basically means we don't always agree.
But we always have something delicious to share.
Each week we'll talk food, health, and family. Recipes that we love, tips to make cooking simpler, and how to eat better without losing the joy.
And yes, expect a little mother-daughter banter because it's not just the veggies that get roasted in this show.
It's two voices, one mission, better food, better health. So grab a fork and hit subscribe.
Because dinner's always more fun with too many cooks in the kitchen.
Today, we are going to do a recipe recap, essentially hashing about each of the recipes that we've done in the episodes so far in our recipe challenge. I'm excited to dig into this topic.
You guys finally get to hear some real banter about what we really think about each other's recipes.
All right, let's get started. Swiss chard is up first.
Swiss chard. Very first recipe, mine was a Swiss chard quiche, and yours was a Swiss chard tart. Very similar kind of
But yet
recipes, but very different.
different. Yes, very different. I would say that they were so different in flavor. You know, it's like you
Yeah,
start with the Swiss chard, but yet, like, and there was a crust. So but I think that's where the similarities ended. Oh, and
yeah,
maybe mine had egg and yours had egg. But,
yeah.
like, flavor profile very different. Stefan loved that quiche and is wanting that to be made again. So there's that. And I do like your pie crust recipe. I
Yeah,
think
I think my
very good.
pie crust recipe, which I can't take credit for. And actually, I'm just realizing right now that I've forgotten my recipe book for this episode, but that's okay. The book that I chose, it came from that cookbook. It's a really good recipe
Well,
for
what's
pie
the name of
crust.
the cookbook?
Nourishing Traditions
Oh,
by
all right.
Sally Fallon.
Well, we can talk about it without that, but so we'll get that to that in the end.
Yeah,
So stay
we'll get
tuned.
to it. But the pie crust recipe I really like because it's a bit different. It has, I mean, you taught me how to make pie crust many, many years ago,
Eons.
and just breaking up the butter really small and then adding the cold water, which I think does make a good pie crust, but the egg yolks add like another layer of like fat, and I think it adds to the flakiness. So,
I think it also in I think if you think about the science, I suppose that's going behind the recipe is that what it else also does is the reason why you cut the butter into the flour first
mhm,
before adding the water is it encapsulates the flour with the fat. And I think
mhm,
it also is helping to do that before you add the water
yeah,
so you can mix in that water to create the pie crust without forming the gluten strands.
mhm,
So that's probably why it leads to that very nice flaky fall apart crust.
yeah. I think it's the best pie crust recipe that I've seen personally.
Yeah, came together quite easily.
Mhm.
What did you
Um,
think of my recipe?
well, I loved your recipe. I thought when I was making it, I was a bit skeptical about like how the flavor would turn out just because it is a dish that is kind of savory and sweet, and I wouldn't traditionally think that raisins would go very well with Swiss chard, but when you ate it, it all really worked together, and all the flavor, the savory sweet was very cohesive, and the crunch from I used pine nuts, I think your recipe called for pine nuts or almonds.
Pine nuts is the original. I often will sub out almonds because pine nuts sometimes can be hard to find. And
Mm-hmm.
I think if I'm going to give a recipe out, I often try to think not necessarily being traditional. Pine nuts are the traditional nut, but there are places in the country where finding the pine nut is hard. And then the other is when you find them, they're ridiculously
Mm-hmm.
expensive. Now, if you're in New Mexico where they grow pine nuts, hey, like that's like
They
the
grow pine nuts in New Mexico?
yes, it's up in the Taos area. They have pine nut areas where people will eat pine nuts out there like people eat sunflower seeds, in the East Coast, where they, eat them and shell them with their mouth and spit the shell out. But they're not always available. They're best when in season, I think, because they have a very high fat content.
Mm-hmm.
Storing them for a long time, the fat goes rancid.
Yeah.
So subbing out almonds, I've done pecans, I've done walnuts. I mean, pretty much any kind of nut can be subbed out. Obviously, will
Mm-hmm.
change a little bit, but you get that bit of that, I think, crunch.
Yeah. It helps to break up the texture. Not that it
Mhm.
wouldn't be good otherwise, but the crunchiness just, it adds another mouth feel, which is nice.
And it adds a good healthy fat as well as a
Yeah.
little bit of protein, so that's a good
Mm-hmm.
thing. And then I think the orange, because when I've made it, I think that orange is like it's like a bridge
Mm-hmm.
between like the Swiss chard and the raisins.
Mm-hmm.
And I've also used dried cranberries as well, which also works. So you can make it
So,
subbing out or lemon for the orange, although I think
yeah.
orange works better.
I was gonna say, I feel like a preserved lemon would be kind of interesting to look
Oh yeah,
at
that's a good idea. I think that would be a
because it'd
good
be
way to do it.
more savory, but also you'd still get the citrus,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
you're getting a little bit of fermentation in there. So,
Ah, fermented foods, our last episode.
yeah.
Got to bring that in. All right. Do you want to go on to our next vegetable recipe, which would be asparagus?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm going to roast yours because no, not my
It's
favorite.
a
Now, I
simple
think
side recipe. I don't
I
know.
know it's a
Like,
simple, easy recipe to make for sure. But I guess it's because the way I like my asparagus is roasted.
mm,
And so I like how the roasting caramelizes the flavor. And as a kid, I was forced to eat asparagus that was boiled. And although you just want to blanch the asparagus still with a little bit of crunch, and then you're going to toss it in the pan, it's just a little bit too close to that for me to kind of like. I get flashbacks, trauma of having to eat like slimy spears of asparagus, whereas roasting, you don't get that. So maybe that's it. And the other is I did not serve it with something that was a light flavor. I think if I had done it with a fish and maybe with a lemon beurre blanc, that would have worked better.
yeah, don't hate on my side. It wasn't my side, it was the pairing.
Ah, yes, it was me who screwed it up. But that's all right. Next time I'll try it again and report back.
Well, your asparagus recipe was your asparagus soup,
Hmm.
which I liked more than I would have expected. I was a little skeptical about the shrimp addition and the shrimp broth, which was used as the liquid in the soup. But I
Hmm.
think it came out really nice, um, and the shrimp added great texture to the soup, which otherwise would have just been a cream soup. Which I mean, I love cream soup, but it gets a little boring, after a while. Like you can only eat so much of it before you're just like, okay, I need something to chew.
Right. Good for someone who's yeah, needs something
Doesn't have
simple and
teeth
easy on the
or
tummy.
maybe a baby. But yeah, I liked it. I think that the shrimp complemented the asparagus very well.
It's kind of a play off of a dish I used to do a lot, which was the tomato cream. It was a fettuccine with the shrimp tomato cream sauce. And so the only thing I did was pull out the cream, but it had asparagus in it and you used the shrimp shells to make kind of the base. So it was a little bit of a riff off that recipe, just pulling the tomato out. Although you could put some chunks of tomato in this and add something to chew to it if you really wanted to. Oh, all right. And right now would be a perfect time to make that because asparagus is coming out of my garden. I got one whole asparagus spear the other day. It was so exciting.
Very exciting.
It's a new bed, so it takes a while to establish asparagus. But then next year it'll be producing like crazy. So on to mushrooms. I apologize to you for sending you a completely or incompletely
A
recipe.
completely incomplete recipe.
Yes, completely incomplete, missing the important ingredients of our mirepoix of, well, I had the onion in there,
Emmy.
but just the celery and the carrots were missing, and that is an important base of many recipes, especially anything that comes out of the French genre or European genre. So yeah, I sad. Sorry, I
I was
screwed that
sad
up.
too. So
That's
your
what happens when
birthday's
you try to
great.
multitask. Write a recipe whilst getting disturbed by a baby puppy. Yeah, I'm gonna blame that one fully on bourbon. Bourbon, for those who don't know, which would be everyone listening to the podcast, is my Bernese Mountain Dog puppy. Although she's 6 months now, but when I was writing the recipe, she was about maybe 10 weeks old and very demanding. So she's getting slightly less demanding. Although she's tall enough now, she can literally put her face right on the laptop. But anyway, we digress. But nonetheless, I am sorry about sending you, but I think you have already tasted that recipe before being made the correct way, so you knew it was wrong.
Yes.
And so, although it tasted okay, it wasn't perfect.
Tasted
Your
okay.
recipe, loved it, very good. Definitely a lot of mushroom in that. I would say for those who want to make it, who are listening, you can cut the recipe like of the mushrooms in half, and it may be only a $500,000 recipe or a $500,000 risotto,
Five hundred
mushroom risotto.
thousand dollar risotto is still good.
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
we can't complain about that.
Yeah.
But you could always double the amount of risotto also.
I think I would double the amount
To
of
be
risotto
honest, I
because it leaves
wasn't. I
leftovers.
hadn't, when I was writing the recipe, I was writing it from memory, so I didn't really remember how many mushrooms I used, you know? And I'd made it kind of a while back, and I made it for a big group of people, so,
Yes.
um,
I think you may have cut your risotto out or the
yeah.
arborio rice in half without halving the amount of mushrooms because there was like
I like a lot of mushrooms.
2 quarts of mushrooms for 1 cup of risotto. It
Okay,
was
that
like,
is a bit much.
was,
Bit
yeah,
much.
it was a hot amount of, yeah,
Mushrooms are good for you, okay? Just eat your mushrooms.
exactly.
But yeah, I was disappointed in your recipe only because it was incomplete and because I wanted the mushroom soup to taste the way that I know it should, but it just didn't, and that was sad. But it's okay because I'll make it again the correct way at some point. But this recipe for me, when you made it at the inn, I loved it at an age where I didn't think I liked mushrooms, and so it opened my eyes to the world of mushrooms. So this is my first entree into the technically first appetizer into the mushroom world.
Ah, yes, and it was the first time I kind of knew you would make an amazing chef is because I had said to you, all right, Lauren, you taste it and season it how you think it should do. And you were about 10 or 11. And I just let you have at it, tasting it and adding what you thought salt, pepper, or any other herb or spice that needed it, or if it needed more cream or whatever. and you didn't do too much, but because I knew it needed something and I knew what it needed, but I didn't want to help you. I let you kind of do it. And when you finished and I tasted it, it was absolutely perfect. You have that ability to find the balance when tasting something, and that is a gift. That is something that I don't believe can be taught. I think you can guide someone, but someone's ability to be able to taste something and know immediately what it needs based off of what you have around in your kitchen is the thing that makes someone go from a cook to a chef. It's not the degree, it's not all that. It's the ability to be able to create, like a painter does on a palette with which you paint as well. We should show some of your art sometime. But yes.
I
So
think for me, that's why I think that's why I was so disappointed with the soup was because when I was seasoning it to taste, to like eat it, it just what like I kept on trying to get it to taste that way, and I was adding like more umami things, and I mean mushrooms are in essence like straight umami mostly. So it didn't, I don't know, it just like it wasn't coming together, and I kept on adding different things to try to get the flavor to be right, and it wasn't like happening. And so, yeah. All right, I think we're ready to move on to our last vegetable recipe.
kale, which I haven't made
Kale.
yet,
I also have not made your kale recipe yet, and I can't remember what
but
it
I
is.
happen to have it right here, so
Oh, that's
I'm
good.
gonna
Just
look at it.
remember.
Yours is the micro chop kale salad with avocado green goddess dressing, I
Hmm.
guess. Right. Um, so we've got a simple dressing with the avocado, lime, apple cider vinegar, a little yogurt, parsley, cilantro, olive oil, garlic, and a shallot. So put all that together
In a blender.
in a blender, blend it up.
Or in
That seems quite simple.
yeah.
And then we're going to have some lacinato kale, also known as dinosaur kale, or some curly kale, or whatever kale you have around. Doesn't really matter. Kale's, I mean, I like lacinato kale myself, but any kind of kale is good.
Any kind of kale will do. Curly kale, red kale.
A combination of to have
Yeah.
some different textures would
Hmm.
look nice. And
I
then
the
we
other
have,
day at the store there was the most beautiful red kale. It was so gorgeous. It was like bright purple. It was
oh,
gorgeous.
really? Oh,
Yeah.
pretty.
Yeah. I had to buy it just because it was so pretty. I changed my
What, are you going
entire
to use it for
lunch
my kale
menu
recipe?
just for the kale. What's that? Did I
Nice.
use this kale recipe?
Well,
I
you
was
could use it in this kale recipe that I sent
Yeah,
you.
you could for sure.
Yeah.
I think it would look really good with the green dressing and the.
Well, I mean, you could use the kale you bought for the recipe I
Oh,
sent you.
yeah, I
So you
could.
could record it because we need it. Anyway,
No,
moving on.
oh wait, you. Well, I need to use kale for your recipe, not for the. Yeah,
C- correct.
yeah.
Yes.
I'm with you. I'm still waking up. Okay,
Yeah,
I'm not
okay, it's all
huge.
good. It's pretty early in the morning. So this has black beans, a little red onion, pepitas, panko breadcrumbs, cotija cheese, which I've never heard of.
Cotija.
Cotija.
That's a very like standard Mexican cheese. It's like
Well,
it's
you
melted.
happen to be in Florida, where you're very near a lot of Cubans, and that here I
I
may be
knew
able to
about
find it.
cotija. I'm 100% certain you can find cotija cheese, Mom.
Yeah, I don't know. The local hairs
I
here
used
may
to
not have it.
live in North Carolina
They
with
have it. Okay,
Brian, who is
right.
Mexican, and we bought cotija cheese plenty of
Well,
times.
so he knew where to look for it.
You,
I will seek it out.
it would either be in the cheese section
Yeah,
or the
right.
cheese section that's like in the deli where like all the specialty cheeses are, or with like the sliced cheese and like the where the sour cream and like that stuff would be. It would be in one of the two areas.
So, for those like me who don't know, what's the texture of cojita cheese?
Cotija.
Co co cotija
Yes.
cheese. Yeah, right. That.
So it's a very crumbly
Oh,
cheese.
so it's like
It's
feta.
kind of it has a finer grain than feta, like it breaks up smaller.
Got
It's
it.
a, and it's a very salty kind of cheese.
Oh, like
So
feta.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's like it's a more dry cheese than feta, but
So
it's it's slightly similar, like in the fact that it's a
salty, crumbly cheese.
yeah, but
Okay.
the flavors are quite different. I mean, I'm pretty sure cotija cheese is cow and feta is sheep or goat. Um,
Yes. Yeah. In general.
so
Yeah. Although you
yeah,
can
this
make
is a
feta with
crumbly cheese.
other of them. I have done it with cow's milk,
Hmm.
and it comes out equally as good. But yes, the traditional, I believe, is sheep because of
Yes.
where it's made. But for those in the middle of the country who might not get the cotija cheese in a local grocery store, feel
I
free
would
to
suggest
sub it out.
Parmesan. I would say
Oh,
Parmesan is
parm.
better. I
Oh,
mean, this is
right.
so obviously this salad is bringing in Latin American influence, clearly.
Yep, lime and
But the Parmesan, the like saltiness of it is going to be more similar to the cotija. So I
hmm
would say that that is I mean, you could use feta, but it would like kind of clump together, and I think the texture of the salad and the flavor profile would be more similar using a Parmesan
okay. All
cheese.
right. Yeah, and Parmesan has that nutty flavor as well. Like it has that.
Yes, exactly. Well,
Cool.
tell me
Well,
about your kale recipe because oh wait, kale, sweet potato, and sausage soup. Maybe
yeah.
I will make that this week at work.
hmm
Except it's always hard to record while I'm working. So,
Well, I mean, do like I do and don't have a very fancy like one, and you just kind of do a little in the intro, and then you make some few videos as you go, and then you go into iMovie and you splice it together. That's what mom does, because mom doesn't have a videographer doing it for me. I'm doing this all. I'm a little lonesome. Once in a while, I get Stefan to hold the camera for
well,
me, but
I mean,
very good.
I have friends who are in the biz, so I
Yeah.
might as well take advantage of that. But I guess I could do a more low budget style food review.
Yeah, because we're trying to keep it a little bit authentic, not being
Yeah.
high
I don't know how my
fancy.
bosses will feel about. I mean, as long as I don't get any of them in the video or any of
Yeah,
the.
I mean, while you're making it, all you need is while you're making it, and then you can
Yeah.
do the intro or whatever voiceover after.
Yeah, and I can use my new gimbal that I haven't really had a
There,
chance to
there you
use.
go.
I just
Yeah.
need to have one of my videographer friends teach me how to use it.
Yes, exactly. Oh, lovely.
Yeah.
All
All right.
right.
Well, kale, sweet potato, and sausage soup seems pretty straightforward. It's kind of a play on like a Italian.
Yep,
Yeah.
it is. Just subbing out the regular potato that sometimes you find in a kale
Hmm.
sausage soup with the sweet potato. It totally changes the flavor, brightens it up. I think it makes it a really pretty dish, and loving the sweet potato. Now, you don't necessarily have to use the orange sweet potato.
I
What
was just
really
gonna.
is nice is the white sweet potato.
Mm,
Yeah.
sometimes those are hard to find, but I do enjoy the white.
And purple sweet potato also works,
Yeah.
although it can tend to give a little bit of a weird color to it.
Yeah,
So
and
if
I
you're going to
find
use
the
purple, use
purple
the yellow too.
sweet potato is very starchy.
Yep.
So, do you think it would have like a thickening effect on the soup without even like
Ever so
overwhelming it?
slightly, but it's more starchy in flavor than it is like a starch, like a potato that actually
Hmm.
is going to thicken it. It doesn't do too much to that.
Okay.
A little bit.
All right. Well,
All right, we're on to
next we're
fruit.
on to fruit.
Blood orange is up first.
I'll let you go first because I know you've got a lot to say on this
Ah, yeah. It
topic.
was
You can
very
talk
tasty. It
shit
was those
about
blood
my
yeah. The,
little orange cups, which I don't know. I mean, they're just for presentation.
it's a pain in the ass to get that damn
It's
orange out of that
really not
cup.
that. I mean, I guess for me, I made this at work and I wanted to do it in the orange thing because I thought my clients would like it.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, I guess it's a little bit silly to do the extra work if you're just at home and like, it's kind of it's an extra step that's not really necessary. But for
It's
a
messy.
dinner
That's all. It's
party,
just messy. You need like a grapefruit spoon, and one that has the like
I
little
didn't think
edges
it was
on
that
it to
messy.
get.
I just used a spoon.
I know I did, but I made a damned mess doing it to scoop out all of the orange out of there. You're half juicing it, so you don't really have the little bit of chunks, but you keep a
Well,
cup some of the
what I
chunks.
did was I had a bowl and then I put like a sieve over it and I just did it over the that.
Oh yeah, that's what I did. It's just you get juice and goop everywhere. Anyway,
I don't know. I
it's
mean,
sticky. I'm not
I
I'm not a
guess for
fan of the
me, I'm
sticky.
just used to cleaning a lot of messes. So
It was very pretty. I would say that. And then I did not have blood oranges, couldn't find them when I made this back when we did it. They're hard to find and come by where I am anyway in North Carolina. Sometimes you get them, but you get them and they're gone within like a
yeah,
week. So I hit it wrong. I just made it with a different type of
which
orange,
is
which worked
okay.
well.
I think
But
you're
the panna cotta was delicious
thank you.
and loved the recipe, all things that way. I just, the only thing I would do next time would be not making little orange cups. I would just,
That's okay. I think for a dinner party, it's a nice way to present it because it's a little bit different, but definitely not necessary.
mhm.
Um, it's more for like a um, what's that custard dessert posay or something like or a posette or I don't know how to say it. It's like a cream. It's
Oh,
a citrus cream dessert. It's
mm.
similar to a panna cotta except that panna cotta is thickened with gelatin, whereas this is not. It's thickened by reduction, I believe.
or thickened by, wow, my brain just,
Like by egg yolks. I don't think it has egg yolks in it.
no. So is it make
But that's
like a,
kind of where I got the idea of
oh,
for
I got you.
the orange cups because that dessert is traditionally served in the whatever like citrus you are
Hmm.
using for the flavoring.
Hmm.
But yeah, definitely not necessary. And when you do it in the orange cups, you don't get as much of, the actual custard.
Hmm.
So it's I think just
I
as good to serve it in a ramekin or something like that.
I would serve it in a martini glass
Mm.
with a
Yeah, then
twist
you
of
could
orange
do
on the
like
top.
half
And
in
then,
the like I
yeah,
don't know, you could do a cool design with the two-tone
if you
jelly.
figured out a way to tip the martini glass on this a bit
Hmm.
of an angle and then poured
Yeah.
it in, you could do some really cool stuff with doing a
Hmm.
layering of a little bit of the panna cotta and a little bit of the topping that you had with the jelly part.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, then it would be really
Yeah.
gorgeous.
I think for the jelly, I would do a softer set next time, like a little
Hmm.
bit less gelatin, because it was a bit more firm than I would
Yes, yes, it
prefer.
was, which in the orange cup worked. But I
Hmm.
think anything else it wouldn't because if you had a larger vessel, yeah,
Yeah,
for sure.
and if you had a larger thing and you wanted to do like a two-tone, you'd probably have to double the amount that you would do, because like for the orange, it was just like a very thin, like little layer of it,
Yeah,
so you
yeah, I
didn't need
would.
much. But
Yep.
yeah, if you're doing a bigger container, you'd want more. But your orange recipe was I'm blanking. What was your orange recipe?
Hold on, I'll pull it up on my lovely computer.
Oh, blood orange yogurt cake.
Yeah.
Um, this recipe I liked. It wasn't, I'm not a big cake girl, but I do prefer for cakes like an olive oil cake or something like that, which this one is a, a type of olive oil cake, kind of. It had olive oil in it as the fat, if I'm
Right.
remembering correctly.
Yes,
Um,
correct.
but I do think, and it might have been on my end, I might have baked it for too long, but I do think it was a bit more on the dry side.
It is. This kind of cake is a more dry cake,
Yeah.
although it does have the yogurt in it, which does help. Actually, I did sub out the olive oil with butter.
Okay.
Um, but I would say that this type of cake is meant for a thin slice to have with
Mhm.
tea.
Yeah. And some kind of like something on top of it would really, if you did like an orange syrup or something like that on top would be really tasty. Or even I was thinking if you like sliced oranges and
Hmm.
like put them either on the bottom or the top and made it kind of like an upside down like orange cake thing. I think one would add another like level of moisture and also would look really nice in presentation.
Yeah, or you could do a simple syrup with a little Grand Marnier, drizzle it
Yeah.
on the top, um,
But I like
and
the
have that.
flavor a lot. I think it was a really good cake, but just a bit more dry than. I mean, cake in general can be very dry, which is
It
I think
can.
why
This
I don't
stores really
really
well, though.
enjoy most cakes.
Yeah, I'm a pie girl myself.
Me
I mean,
too.
I like pie, but this was a way to kind of have a different type of thing. It's also
Hmm.
very not, it's not super sweet, which I like
Yeah.
about that. And it is one of those things that you can have this cake and easily slice it into different kind of shapes. So you could use it. This would also do really well in a trifle. Like if you wanted to have it make a trifle,
Hmm.
you could use this cake in that. I think it is holds up a little bit better than a sponge cake. Has a little bit more oomph to it than a sponge cake.
Hmm.
But not a cake person myself. If it's my birthday, I want pumpkin pie. Well, and for those who don't know, I was born on Thanksgiving Day. So to me, pumpkin pie, it's where it's at.
I also am in that camp of I like to eat pie on my birthday. But my birthday's in February, so really any pie goes.
Yeah, exactly. So pomegranate.
Pomegranate.
Yeah.
Your pomegranate recipe was the roasted sweet potato Brussels sprout with pomegranate, which I really like this one. This one I think was really, really good. The flavor of everything together with like the sweet and tangy sauce and then the crunch of the pomegranate and the walnuts and yeah, I think or was it pecans? I mean,
I
either would really work. I think it was
yeah.
walnuts.
Yeah. It was
Pecan.
very likely a pecan.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
it
don't
was
know.
pecan.
Either would be great.
Yeah,
So
and even
whatever
even
kind of
if for
works.
someone who doesn't can't do nuts, maybe even pepitas,
Mhm. Yeah.
would also work
Mhm.
too.
Yeah.
If you want to add a
Um
crunch.
yeah. And for me, I had to kind of make this recipe a little bit differently than you had written in your
Oh,
recipe
right.
because I don't have an oven at home. I live in a studio apartment and I just have like a little induction, not even induction burner, just a burner, which I do want to replace to get an induction burner because I think they're much better. But, anyways, I had to make it all kind of on my little burner thing. So I used my cast iron pan to brown everything separately, and then I added it all back together and tossed it with the sauce. And I think it really worked.
Hmm.
And you, like browning it in the pan really helped to get more browning than I think you would get
Yeah,
like
and I
in the
actually
oven.
think doing it your way is probably even a better way, or air frying it.
It's definitely more time consuming, that's for sure. I mean, it took me a little while to. I mean, I guess if I was doing, because I had to obviously do it in separate batches. If
Hmm.
you were only cooking it for like two people, you could cut the amount of stuff in half and it might not take quite so long. Because with each of the things, you want to like turn them and all, yeah. But
Yep.
it, uh, I was really happy with how it turned out doing it in the pan. So
And then your recipe, which is all of the pomegranate poached pear,
yes,
with
two
the two
ways.
recipes with the salad, which
I was
was
an
really great.
overachiever on this one.
Yeah, I liked it because you get the pear, which you can use for all sorts of other things. And they were beautiful in that pomegranate juice.
Hmm.
And then reducing that pomegranate juice, we used that because there was plenty of it. Use that for a boatload of other things as well. So I think this is
Yeah.
like the recipe that keeps on giving that you
Hmm.
can use over and over again, which I really liked. And the dessert was really great. Simple dessert with that mascarpone cheese. So nice and light, and would make a very versatile recipe. Use any time of year if you want to take advantage of pomegranates in the winter, then like do it then. But like even if you didn't have like fresh pomegranates, you could make this recipe because you could get pomegranate juice just
Hmm.
about any time. So it was great. I love the recipe. Really easy to make essentially, and one of those that didn't take a lot of time,
Hmm.
active time.
Yeah, it's not a ton of effort. Like you prepare the pears and then you put them in the liquid and you let them kind of go and then
Yeah, peeling the pears is probably about the thing that takes the longest.
yeah.
And yeah, which not a big deal.
Yeah. But I love how like the color of the pears after they're cooked, they're very beautiful looking.
Yes, they are very pretty.
Star
So,
fruit.
star fruit. Um, Yours was super easy, that fruit leather. And for those who have watched or listened to that episode, I actually had Olivia, Lauren's sister, my youngest, who is on the World Archery team, and we happened to, when I made this recipe that weekend, have them over. They did a sleepover, so I was able to kind of get the opinion of both of them trying it. And they liked it so much, and Natalie wants the recipe, so I have to remember to send her that recipe. So it
Good
was
thing it's
super easy to
already
make.
written down.
Huh?
People always ask me for recipes and I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll write it down for you. And then I forget to write it down because I'm busy. And then I never share the recipe with them. But this one's already written, so that's good.
Yes, it's easy to share because it's on, well, at least it's on my website for sure. I don't know if it's on our actual website for this podcast, but for sure on Oh Let's Grow, on the recipes, all of those are posted there. So if you, and we will link it again in the show notes. All of
Yeah,
these
I don't
recipes
know
will be
what's
linked.
happening. The person who's supposed to take care of our website, she just completely like,
Totally, maybe slightly busy with her regular day job, just like me. We have both have regular day jobs and the same time as we are working on this podcast,
and our
because
schedules are quite kind of opposite. Like Sunday really is the only day that we can connect because my weekends are not typical weekends and I work late into the night until I mean I the time I get off work is usually when you're going to bed. So
correct.
it's a little bit
Yeah.
hard to uh, plan things. But anyway, so
Yeah.
your starfruit recipe was the starfruit salad with the poppy
Mhm.
seed dressing, which I thought was really simple and easy to make. Um, I had to substitute. chia seeds for poppy seeds because I didn't have any poppy seeds. I suppose I
Well, I
could have
think
made
it's
them
actually a
something.
great idea
Yeah.
myself. Like adding the more protein, good
Mhm.
for you.
Mhm.
And although
And
I
chia
don't
seeds,
know,
they
I
don't really
disagree with poppy seeds being a gateway drug because seriously, like poppy seeds, like you have to eat a lot, you have to be like eating spoonfuls of those suckers to, I don't know, have
I was
that
just kidding. I
opioid
don't think they're a
effect.
gateway drug,
But
but
chia seeds are equally as good, if not
they
maybe
just don't
better.
really. The poppy seeds, I would say, add a different flavor, whereas like chia seeds, they don't really have any flavor. So you're more adding them for the fiber and the health benefits that you. But I mean, they do say that like for chia seeds, you have to add a lot of them to get like the added protein and whatever. But anyways, I more so did it to stay consistent with the look of
Yeah, right.
the
A
thing.
little flex.
Um,
Hmm.
but yeah, it was really simple and easy to make, and I gave the leftovers to a friend, and they really loved it. So
Oh, good.
yeah.
Cool. All
And
right.
lastly is strawberry, my
Which we
favorite
haven't made
fruit.
but will, and I'm gonna critique this recipe here. Strawberry scones with orange curd. So I love me some lemon curd, so orange curd's got to be equally as good. Got, oh, and it has lemon juice in it too, because you would need the lemon to pop it. If
Yeah,
not, it would
otherwise it'd
be
be
kind
kind
of
of
bland.
like too sweet, I think.
And too bland. Like
Hmm.
orange juice, a glass of orange juice. But once you start cooking with it, I think the flavor really
Hmm.
changes. And without the citric acid from the lemon to really pump it up, it would kind of fall flat.
Yeah.
So otherwise, it's just a basic curd recipe,
Hmm.
cooking it and all that. And then the scones that you are adding, you definitely would want to do small dice of strawberry because
Yes.
I just can think like,
It
strawberries
was.
cooked in a scone are going to be big globs of mush. So you definitely would want to dice them small. And I like the fact that it has a buttermilk in it. I'm surprised though that because you're using the buttermilk, that you are not subbing out a little bit of the baking powder for baking soda, which would activate with the acid in the buttermilk.
Well, to be honest, I haven't made this recipe yet, so I.
I see.
So the chemistry in it has not been tested. So you're my guinea pig mom. But I know that you're very proficient in scone making.
Yep.
Um, so
Having a bed and breakfast and making that many breakfasts for that many years. Yes. Scones. I could do scones now without a recipe, but like, usually throw them together. Last weekend, I did a cornmeal and cherry
hmm,
with ginger scone. So subbed out some of the flour for some cornmeal, ground up nicely fine in my blender, which also has a mill setting, so that's helpful. Because I bought a 25-pound bag of corn grits from a local mill, the Lindley Mills, where I get my flour. And it's amazing how long it takes you to go through 25 pounds of corn grits.
that's
Um,
a lot of grits.
well, I mean, it's mostly for the like polenta.
Hmm.
So, but I think the corn grit for making grits, for polenta, I think they grind it finer. So usually when I make the polenta, it's a little too, it takes a while to cook. So I
Yeah.
find if I grind it up a little bit more, it works very well. But yeah, I'm
And
excited to make this
your
recipe.
strawberry recipe, which I have not made yet, is Strawberries Romance, which you told me is a play on Strawberries Romanoff,
Mhm.
which is a Russian dessert.
It's actually, I believe, well, I
French.
don't know if the derivative is that like, if it's a French recipe that
Hmm.
often like there is a I can't remember I'll have to look that up. Maybe I'll put the details in the show notes for those who want to listen. But I believe it might have something to do with like a ballerina
Okay. I thought that was
and
the
inspiration.
pavlova, but I
Pavlova,
guess
that's right. You are correct.
yeah.
Pavlova is definitely the ballerina.
Which actually, I thought pavlova was a French dessert, but actually, it's like Australian, New Zealand.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, they compete for who I guess is the original like owner of the pavlova.
Ah.
But I didn't realize that until recently. But I guess that's a very common like birthday dessert
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
there.
hmm
Yeah. But anyways, strawberries romance.
Yeah, basically super easy to make. Romanoff is also very easy to make. So Strawberries Romance is just a little different because I added my own flip to it, which would be the mascarpone cheese.
And strawberries romanoff, for those who don't know, is a strawberry based dessert where you're essentially whipping strawberries with whipped or heavy cream, right? No, or you're whipping cream and then you're taking ice cream and you're folding it together and then you fold in the
Correct.
strawberries
Well,
after.
I don't fold in the strawberries. You just take the strawberries and
Oh,
put
you
them over.
put them
So
on
you're
top.
macerating
Okay.
strawberries with Grand Marnier, tiny, tiny bit of sugar. So you can essentially having like a simple syrup. So
Teeny
you,
tiny.
well, and it has confectionery sugar in it, which actually the confectionery sugar, when you do it, is going to thicken it a little bit. I took that out and subbed out for honey because one, I can't stand the mouthfeel of the confectionery sugar. Not a fan. So really, it's just for that sweetness. The honey is thick enough. The strawberries will lose some of their juices, and the Grand Marnier, and it all kind of blends together. And so you're folding in the ice cream with the whipped cream. The ice cream has to be softened enough to be able to do it. So it's the only thing is with this technique, it's just making sure that the ice cream and the whipped cream have very specific, similar consistency so that you can fold them together without
Mhm.
getting globs of ice cream within the whipped cream. You want it to
So
amalgamate.
let's just hypothetically, this probably wouldn't work. So let's say you had a crumb, you would want to definitely churn it first before you folded it in with,
You would churn it a little bit. So if you were going to make a homemade ice cream, like a vanilla
which I
ice cream,
have at work.
coming right out of the churn is the perfect
Okay.
consistency
All
to
right.
fold with your whipped cream.
All right.
This kind of dessert, though, you want to serve right away as soon as it's like it is
Okay.
going from folding it, putting it in whatever vessel I like, a martini glass or a goblet, right? And then you're spooning that strawberry mixture over top and out the to the
Okay.
table it goes.
So it's not really one of those that you could pre.
You can make all of the ingredients like you could do your strawberries and get them macerating,
Yeah.
let them hang out. You could make the whipped cream ahead, although, whipped cream has a tendency to kind of settle out a little bit if it's made
Hmm.
too far ahead,
What
but
if
you
you,
could do it.
instead
So,
of separately folding the whipped cream, mascarpone, and ice cream, because like you've got your three things. What if you
mhm,
made like a mascarpone chantilly, which is essentially
mhm.
whipped cream made with mascarpone, and then you folded those two together, the chantilly and the ice cream.
Oh, that would work. That's a good way to
Okay,
do it
that's
ahead.
probably what I'm gonna do then.
Yep. There's lots of other ways. You could probably even do like a layered thing where you do like a little ice cream, a little strawberry, a little
Mm.
of the whipped cream and mascarpone like piped out, and then like a little bit more strawberry, and ta-da, it would be somewhat similar. But you do want to make sure the ice cream is soft. You do not want the hard. It would not work with this dessert. So I think we've rehashed our recipes
Yes, we
and
have.
excited to get the last two, the kale and the strawberries, on
Me
the
too.
books and recorded.
Yes, me too. I think I am more excited for the dessert recipe because I love a good strawberry recipe. Um, but The kale one seems good too.
How about
No shade on kale.
yeah, don't. Kale's good. Kale is quite good for you as well. Feeds
It
those
is.
gut microbes
Mm-hmm.
quite well.
Very fibrous.
And
Eating though, kale sometimes is not the best.
no, and sometimes it's good to ensure that you are putting a little bit of salt and olive oil and kind of
That's
squishing it
why
together.
in my recipe I had it chopped so small,
Yep.
like to micro chop, because it helps to break up the kale a bit more. And I think
Hmm.
even in the recipe, I think I did. Maybe I didn't though. I can't remember. But I think I did have you macerate it with olive oil and salt before dressing, but I can't
Yes,
remember.
it does say massage. Gotta give a
Yes.
massage to the kale, get it all
Yes.
loose.
Yeah.
Yep.
You have to get it to relax
It's gotta
first
be
before
relaxed.
you eat it.
Right, exactly.
um,
What
but
about the cookbook? What about the
yes,
cookbook?
I mentioned my cookbook. So, yeah, my book, Nourishing Traditions by Sally Fallon, a very good cookbook that is more based on like making everything as close to nature as possible. It's very like holistic and health promoting, not like in a crunchy woo woo sense, but um, just I think really good wholesome recipes.
Hmm.
There's a lot to offer in that book, and it has all kind. It's a very big cookbook, and it really has like it's like a
Nice.
joy of
Okay.
cooking, but health based because it has pretty much everything you could ever want or need in terms of recipes. You know, it really has
Hmm.
like the basic things, but also things that are a bit more advanced and creative,
Yeah.
which I think that the joy of cooking, it's a very good like starter cookbook.
There's a lot of stuff in The Joy of Cooking, though,
Yes.
if you really
It is a
dig into it.
huge cookbook.
It is a huge cookbook, and I use it. It's so much used, the covers had to be
Falling
taped
off.
back onto it.
Yeah.
Um, and there
It
are,
was literally falling apart 20 years ago.
yeah, it's equally still the kind of falling apart, but I continue to tape it back together because it's a book that is the reference. And the nice thing about that cookbook, I think, for anyone who needs one cookbook,
Yeah.
it's the one that you can use it as a reference. So it's not just recipes, but it's like the how to's and the why you're doing something. So the foreword of some recipes are really informative. So I think having, if you're in a small space or just starting out, something like The Joy of Cooking or perhaps this Nourishing Traditions is going to be a very helpful thing because it's a recipe book that is broad with lots of information in it. So we will link both of those cookbooks.
Was that like the cookbook that you had selected for?
Yeah, for this episode, like I would say that's granted. I have over 100 cookbooks, and I know people that think that's a lot, but there are other people with 1,000 cookbooks, and you know, so
You can never
I
have too many cookbooks.
correct. Actually, I probably have closer to 150 now, but anywho, um, I have some that I really, really enjoy to like grab and read for inspiration. And other ones I'll get. I think they're great, and then I never ever seem to ever cook a recipe out of because inevitably they're too fussy. So often I have to go find some ingredient and I don't have on hand, or it seems like it's just going to take too long.
Yeah. And a lot of these cookbooks are more like coffee table books for a
Yeah.
lot. And I like having those kind of cookbooks also just because they're interesting and they're fun to peruse and look at the pictures and you don't have to make anything from them to be able to enjoy.
But for our listeners, I would say The Joy of Cooking and Nourishing Tradition seems like two cookbooks you could have on your shelf and not go wrong.
Yes, exactly. And like you were saying, Mom, if you want to have just one cookbook or a very small selection of cookbooks because you don't think it's necessary to have, and it's really not necessary to have more than one cookbook if you have a good cookbook that covers, a wide array or pretty much everything that you could really want in the span of cooking. I think it's a great, I mean, the joy of cooking truly has everything. I mean, when you owned the restaurant when I was young, that was, I mean, I think you used it almost every day,
Yeah, I
or
would pull it
not
out for
every day, but
something.
it was always there.
Yep, that's why it's so
And
well worn.
if we, yeah, and if we wanted to make something and didn't know how, you'd be like, well, go look it up in the Joy of Cooking, and
Yep,
yeah.
exactly.
So these days, I find that, I mean, there's so much online, and you have endless amount of recipes at your fingertips if you just look them up on your phone, which I find most often that that's where, when I'm looking for a recipe for something, I usually just go to the internet because I always have my phone on me. If I'm at work, I don't necessarily always have a cookbook, but um,
Yeah, and I too also will use my phone, but I find that unless I pull the recipe and can lock it down and just jump to the damn recipe, I don't want to read the whole blog of all of
yeah,
that.
that's the
It's and
worst.
all those damn pop-up ads
Yeah.
lead me to go less and less, rely less and
Hmm.
less on those. I will use the New York Times recipe
Hmm.
app, and those apps, yes. But for Google searches, maybe I get inspiration. I quickly look at the recipe, try to avoid. I mean, if someone with epilepsy is probably going to be triggered by that amount of freaking ads that pop up, it's annoying. But
And
yeah,
that's why we vowed for all our recipes on our website. There's none of the
we don't monetize
bullshit.
it.
Well, we'll wrap it up really quickly. Introduce the next episode for the people.
Yeah, the next episode is.
Is about food controversies.
Yeah, we're going to have the great sandwich debate.
The great sandwich debate.
Is it a hot dog? Is it a sandwich? Is it
Is
just
it a
a taco?
taco? Is it
Yeah,
a sandwich?
right. Is
Is
it
a
something you should just avoid and
hot
not
dog
eat?
a taco? We will never know, or at least not until the next episode.
So, next episode is another food episode. Hey, if you have an idea for an episode, hit us up.
Yeah. Or if you have a food controversy that you'd like us to debate, let us know.
We will be back with some other types of topics that are for health, but we realized that we were a little bit too health heavy and not enough food. And we are two chefs that want to banter about food, so we are going to do that and would love suggestions for upcoming episodes as well as food items to make. So we will see you next time.
See you next time. Happy
Bye.
cooking.
Yeah, when I was a pastry chef I think for my birthday, the owner of that inn that I worked at gave me the Charlie Trotter dessert cookbook. And then it's beautiful. Look through it. But I don't think I've ever actually made. I should challenge myself this year to make a recipe out of the Charlie Trotter cookbook because Charlie Trotter had actually come to our culinary school and actually I turned down a position in his restaurant because he was a bit of a hothead and I didn't want to work with someone. But
Oh, a chef. Who's a hothead?
who would have thought? No way. Yeah.
Mm.